Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Tech Illiterate. A small business I worked with remotely had a power outage that caused a hardware failure in a local server that handles the point of sale software and shared files. This meant the client computers couldn't connect to the point of sales, but they still had email and internet, because the server doesn't handle that. I don't think the staff understand what their server does, and or that it is located at their business. I also believe they think the shortcut on their desktop is the point of sales. First, I get an email asking if deleting a shortcut will delete the point of sales. I try to remote into the server and it is offline, so I call them, explaining how to check if the server computer is powered on. I explained how to manually power cycle it. After a few calls and emails back and forth, I say that I think the computer is broken and needs to be repaired. I then get an email that says we can access the internet and email on our workstations, but still can't connect to the point of sales. So a few more emails later, and I think they understand that the point of sale software is on the server, as well as all their shared files. When I get an email saying they are taking the server into our local repair shop at my request, since I'm remotely helping them at this point. They then ask me which computer they are taking in, the small router or the mini ATX case computer. I had a good laugh at that one. An hour goes by and I get an email. We rebooted our computer and still cannot connect to the point of sales. So I asked if the repair shop fixed the server and they powered it back on. No, that computer is still at the shop being fixed. I have found a new respect for those who have to deal with this daily. The next story is called No Laptop Stand. I work as a tech support at a university, and last year I transitioned to a new campus with a new role. Unlike my old role and campus, where desks were shared, my full-time on-site duties now earned me my very own desk and workspace. Excited to make my new desk feel like home, I spoke to my new boss about obtaining a laptop stand for ergonomic reasons. His response? Sure, just check with the health and safety manager. He'll order one for you. So I send an email to the health and safety manager, and his reply is far from straightforward. Do you have a doctor's note saying you need this? You will need one to be able to qualify for ergonomic material. Also, every campus already has ergonomic chairs and height adjustable desks, so that should be enough. You are young. I don't think you need more. You IT guys ask way too much. I didn't want to make a fuss on my first day, so I just responded that I'll check with my doctor. But I also informed him that my office actually lacked height adjustable desks. I wasn't planning to go to my doctor for this. Way too much effort for one little thing. And so I left it at that. A few days later, to my surprise, I got a response. He simply said, I'll ask infrastructure to budget new desks. And sure enough, today was the day. New desks and cabinets arrived, turning our old office into a completely revamped workspace. The total expenditure? A whopping 20,000 euros. Out of curiosity, I checked one of our regular vendors' prices for a laptop stand, just 10 euros. Now I sit at my expensive, newly furnished, still laptop stand-less desk, wondering what grand gesture will come next should I dare to ask again. The third story is called Saved Millions. Several years ago, I got called into a panic meeting because something had been sent out to all stockholders with the wrong email domain. Entire chaos, because it could mean millions of dollars of fines from the regulators. While there was mass panic, I jumped online and checked if the domain they had used was available. It was, so I bought it then and there, and then added that domain to our email system, told them to calm down, and that I had resolved their issue. Fast forward a few weeks. I have been repaid for my initial outlay, and I get invited to a presentation. At that presentation, they gave me a lot of kudos for finding a solution so quickly and acting on it, thereby saving the company millions. They then gave me a $20 prepaid credit card. Yeah, I would have been happier with just the certificate they gave me. $20 didn't even pay for lunch that day. The next story is called Admin Password. I was building out a new system of workstations with Azure and asked an employee to back up her files to a USB stick before I signed her computer into AD. I gave her the stick and came back 5 minutes later. She told me that it would take her an hour at least, and I was puzzled, so I took a peek at her screen. She was individually opening doc files and saving them to the USB, one at a time, using the save function in MS Word. Hundreds of files. She was angry and irritated that she had been asked to do such a tedious job. I told her to stop and just let me copy-paste them for her, and she asked, "What's that?" with a big frown on her face. I copied the files and they went into the USB. "What are you doing? What was that? Also, I need the admin password for the computer, because I saw you fix it with the admin password. I'm just going to set this up with the backend. You can't have admin passwords because you don't need them." Of course, she made an angry face. The computer links with Azure. Employee login works. Basic job done. But this 50-year-old angry face says, "I feel like I can't ask you anything. Can you make it so that the computer is exactly the same as before?" "What do you mean?" "The things. I want the things to be there like they were before." "Do you mean this?" "Yes, I want the things there. I never had this trouble at my old job. The tech guy knew what I meant, every time." "Okay, you want applications on the taskbar, Word and PowerPoint?" Her angry face got angrier. "Okay, right-click the application shortcut and pin to taskbar. This is how you pin bookmarks in your browser." I left her office and went to my own. Then she requested administrative access to make group emails for the company, our affiliates and consumers. I thought about this and made a mailing list with some harmless email addresses. Created an address for her to mail. I sent her an email and tell her to email that address to spread her materials around. I tell her that she doesn't need to create a group or be able to create groups, because it already exists. A minute later, the door shot open. "No, I want you to teach me how to make groups in the system. I need it for my work. I need the admin password to do my work." I stand with care and my hands raised. "It's okay, I made the group email already, and you can email that." "That's not what I want." She made a face at me and ran away. Through the window, I see her run into the administration manager's office. Arms waved this way and that way. The admin manager rang me. "Can you help her with this? She wants the admin passwords to the system. She wants admin rights to create email groups across the whole company." "Oh, yes, I know. She's the diversity officer." I tried. The admin manager later told me that she cried for an hour in the corner of her office. The last story is called Callback. This was in the dinosaur days of the 90s and happened to a friend of mine. His company captured check images for several banks using a high-speed check reader and sorter. At the time, these were high-tech and high-dollar, and since they were essential equipment, they came with 24/7 maintenance. One night, they called for support. Told the tech, "Think there's something wrong with the sorter. Smells like hot electrical." It was 1 AM on a winter night, and the tech didn't want to leave his cozy bed and drive an hour to investigate the issue. So he told them, "Call me back when you see flames," and hung up. An hour later, his phone rings again. "Okay, we have flames. Are you going to come now?" Of course, the sorter was now a boat anchor, and the maintenance company sent a bunch of guys in suits to argue how they were in no way liable. Unfortunately for them, Friend's company recorded all their phone calls and simply played back the tech telling them to run it until they see flames. Friend's company got a brand new $250K sorter out of it. I think the tech guy got an extended period of unemployment. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.